the future of digital payments. This is a subject which is very dear to each one of you, because if you have a bank account, if you have a digital payment system, you have digital, better know about this. Otherwise, one fine morning you will find your bank account is wiped up, nothing is there. Because that's why we got some fantastic person who knows the inner journey is going to be talking to us today, plus other people. We also have gentlemen from police will guide you how to go about, and if you lose the money, how to complain after losing the money. In case you get it back, you're good luck. There's so many things you can learn, because we have already done a series on this earlier, if you remember, how not to lose money and how to respond to the thing. Because certain simple things, because I don't know how many of you get called. I get called every second day. You better respond by number 9. Otherwise your account, your telephone number will be blocked immediately. That call will come from somewhere USA number actually, I mean, at the end of the day, small little things, we should never respond to things. And today this panel is there, we're going to be talking to us in great, and we are doing that, this entire event with the Digital Security Authority of India. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hand together to welcome the distinguished panel for this evening. Ms. Uma Shankar, Regional Director of Reserve Bank of India, Chennai. Then we have Rajendran, Chairman, Digital Security Association of India. And also we have Benjamin Ambrose, he is the Chief Information Security Officer, National Payment Corporation of India. Then we also have Lakshmi Venkatesh, the General Manager from Indian Overseas Bank, and Raghavendra Ravi, the Deputy Superintendent of Police, Cyber Crime Wing, and Tamil Nadu Police. He will be joining. Police is on the way. It's always they'll come on time. So you know that actually. So it's not like a movie. Genuinely I take up on time. May I request the distinguished guest to please take your place in the diet. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause to our distinguished panel for speaking. Come on.
Excuse me, the police one has to come always last.
That's the reason.
Always last. I don't want to explain it further. Yeah, if I want to commit crime, I have to go first.
Point well taken, sir. It's another input. It's on the lighter vein, because the coming itself is a big honor, privilege for us. The format of the event, as you all aware, we'll have a distinguished chief guest. Uma Shankar, Regional Director, will address for about 15-20 minutes. Then before that, Rajendran will set the context for 2-3 minutes, what's happening. Then all the specialists will share their thought, followed by a conversation. So I'll have the privilege of introducing all the speakers for this evening, so that we'll carry on without interruption thing. Let me have the privilege of introducing Ms. Uma Shankar. She's a Regional Director of Reserve Bank of India, Chennai, and she joined RBI as an officer in 1993 and has an extensive experience in central banking. She holds a Master of Business and Economics and Bachelor degree in Commerce from Delhi University. Also, she got an MSc in Management from London School of Business Economics, and she also served as an RBI nominee on the board of Punjab National Bank. Very warm pleasure to have you with this evening. Then you all know Rajendran, doesn't need introduction. Our own Rajendran is Chairman of Digital Security Authority of India, and MABL, MCOM, and also multiple certificates. He has over 3 decades of experience in IOB, where he worked earlier, especially in IT security. Since 2008, he has been an advocate and consultant in cyber law and IT security. Pleasure to have you with us. Then Rajendran is the knowledge partner also for this event. We have Mr. Benjamin Ambrose, who is the Chief Information Security Officer, National Payment Corporation of India, and with over 2 decades of experience, he has worked with Wipro, Citibank, and Amazon Web Services. He excels in leading global security system, crafting strategies, and ensuring regulatory compliance. Benjamin is also passionate about sports, including badminton, cricket, and chess. Lovely to have you with us. Let me add to our next panel for this evening is Mr. Lakshmi Venkatesh, General Manager, Indian Overseas Bank. A textile engineer by professional qualification. He also joined the bank in 1987, has an extensive experience in various banking streaming and commerce. It's a degree with CAIB. He has been a digital banking department since 2021 and the IT department since January 23. And is, under leadership, the bank has won several prestigious banking technology awards for Indian Overseas Bank. He'll be joining us any moment now. Then the last panel for this evening will be joining us also is Raghavendra Ravi, the Deputy Superintendent of Police, Cyber Crime Wing of Tamil Nadu Police. He's a very interesting profile. In fact, very keen to listen to this gentleman. Let me give you the profile. He's a Deputy Superintendent of Police, Cyber Crime, Tamil Nadu Police. He holds a bachelor degree in Computer Engineering from University of Madras. Master of University from Essen University, Germany, and another Master of doing IT from the University of Amundsen in Sweden. And after working in the software engineer in New York, he came to Tamil Nadu Police and joined as Deputy Superintendent of Police as a cyber crime investigation. I think very interesting. And he will be joining us any moment. Now I will request Rajendran to set their opening remarks. Thereafter, the Chief Guest. Rajendran.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Hello. Good evening, friends. Good evening, and thank you, Dr. Vijay Kumar, Dr. Megatraman and others, my friends for a number of years. I am very happy to have been associated with a prestigious institution like MMA. We also run an institution like Designer Kuti Thirundu institution run pandrom. But it's nice that I am having a kind of a partnership arrangement with MMA. In fact, it's a very good opportunity for me to share a few minutes like on cybercrime in a broader perspective. Perhaps I won't go deeper into defining cybercrime and all that. Crime, as you all know, is quite old. Crime is as old as human being, all of you know. Crime has evolved. Crime is the first man and first woman came, the crime also came simultaneously. Like the Adam and Eve, in the Western mythology, Adam and Eve, he wanted apple, perhaps it's part of his criminal intention that he wanted apple. Or perhaps in Indian history we can say, Upanishad, Vedas, almost every scripture they speak about crime. So crime is pretty old. But as technology improves, crime has penetrated technology, or I can say technology has penetrated crime. That's the way. Like they say, there are three sides to a criminal crime triangle or a fraud triangle, they say. One is first is the intention, or the need, greed. Tamil solapana, mannasai, pennasai, ponnasai manga. The urge to commit a crime. The second is rationalization. How we justify a crime. Like what, because every criminal justifies his activity. Criminals would say openly that I committed a crime. Police officers like Bahal or others must be knowing the crime psychology also. Like what Kamal Haasan did right from the days of Nayagan or Rajini did from Talabadi up to the Indian 2, what Vijay Ajit, everybody is. Because the hero does is not a crime and the villain does is a crime. So we rationalize. The third angle to the triangle, as I said, the first is the need or greed. Second is the rationalization. Third is opportunity. Only these three actually constitute a crime. It is with regard to this particular thing called opportunity, wherein every subject awareness initiative, everything is focused. The less we give opportunity, the less we will be victimized in a crime. And nowadays, to become a cyber crime victim is extremely simple. You can become a crime. When you click number 1, number 2, all those things are there. Those days are gone now. When you give your mobile to somebody, oh, it's a beautiful iPhone, latest model, Galaxy, very nice one, just give it to me. Sure, Naga, if you can give your mobile to me just for about 40 to 50 seconds, hardly a minute, if I have a look at the mobile, just go through, oh, it's a beautiful, very color and all that. That 40-50 seconds would be for me to inject a malware into your mobile and to keep tracing it every time. Right? Correct. Chiso, you can correct me if I am wrong. So, that 50 seconds or about 1.5 minutes of time would suffice for me to inject a malware into the mobile and trace the OTP and trace who is sending you a call and perhaps your bank user number, not the password. Some people are in the habit of saving the password in the mobile itself. Most vulnerable. I am not talking about that category. So these are all the areas where we ourselves wittingly or even unwittingly give opportunity for committing crime. It is with regard to this aspect of giving an opportunity, a prevention, that associations like Digital Security Association of India and all seminars and conferences are all focused about. Don't give any opportunity. Don't be vulnerable, that's all. Because nowadays, the trends in cybercrime is increasing so much. Almost every day, I can even, with stress I can say, every day I receive a phone call. Even day before yesterday, there's a phone call. Somebody said that your Aadhaar number has been used. This has become quite popular now, all of you would have heard about it. Your Aadhaar number has been used for sending a parcel. I'm speaking from a FedEx or some courier, international courier service. So local ST courier la solla matanga. Very foreign பேர் தான் சொல்லுவாங்க. So I'm using that. Your Aadhaar number has been used. Immediately we'll panic. No, நான் மாதிரி hashish, ganja, narcotics, I never sent anything, we'll panic. Don't worry, madam, we are aware that you would not have sent it, but still your Aadhaar number has been used. We'll try to come out of it. You talk to our police. About 2-3 months back, I would say, a friend of mine, not a friend of mine, he became a friend subsequently, because all victims are my friends, basically. I mean, victims became my friends. I wouldn't say are my friends, they became my friends. He was smart enough to take a picture of the thing. A smartly well-dressed gentleman, see our policeman has not communist uniform, I can say, a smartly well-dressed person in a police attire, police uniform, with the police Government of India logo, is sitting there with a mic or typically a laptop and all that before him. About 30 seconds he said, I'm from this police station, I'm in charge, but don't worry, you can talk to our lawyer. You would not have sent this parcel in your name, somebody has misused it, but don't worry, you'll try to get out of it, you talk to our lawyer. That's all. The video call will vanish hardly in about 30-40 seconds, because you know that the longer time it takes, more are the chances of is getting caught. Okay. So, what we say in Tamil now, Kannal Kanbadum Pai, Kadal Ketpadum Pai, Thera Visari Pedemi. Kannal Kanbadum Pai, monitor Parpadu Mutilum Pai. Others go by that principle. Anything you see in the sorry, I'm switching out to Tamil very frequently. I do not know Benjamin, you know Tamil. No?
I know Tamil. I'm a Tamil.
Very good, frequently. So, from that angle, what happens? The basic fact, basic thing, we have to be extremely cautious. Awareness. Awareness. That is the only thing. You be aware. No bank, Madam for the Reserve Bank will certainly confirm his statement. RBI has given clear guidelines that no bank will ever take a particular detail from you in an electronic mode. Customers, bank should not, sir, welcome. Customers should not take details, should not call for a detail from a bank in an electronic mode. That is, by an SMS or an email, something, sending a link or sending an SMS. Please click this link, please log into this and give me your KYC like that. This bank should not do. It's a very clear RBI directive. RBI has said it so many times. But in spite of it, we are afraid. Leave alone RBI. When somebody calls at about 8 o'clock, he says, I'm calling from TNEB, from TNEB website, last bill has not been paid. We say, no, bill has certainly been paid, we would say. No, madam, I'm calling from system department only. You're talking very fast English. I'm talking system department. Our system has not upgraded your last payment bill. In another 1 hour, your power line will be disconnected. This is a typical case which has happened. One madam, immediately she clicked and links, the initial payment or something, 40,000 or about 1 lakh rupees she lost. I was asking her, which TNEB official speaks good English? Don't think that my English is good, I'm just telling you practically. See, I'm not casting aspersions on the capability or the knowledge of any state government official. Please don't mistake me. More from a fun point of view. TNEB or any other government agency will not proactively make a call to you. When there is a power cut, we make a call to them. We call them so many times, sometimes they don't even pick. This TNEB calls you and tells you your power line is going to be disconnected. So these are the basic requirements, initiatives, awareness that we have to be extremely cautious about. So with this, I conclude now. Okay, come. And at the end there will be a panel discussion. Unfortunately, I'll be there in that also. Panel, you can ask questions in Tamil also. Vijay Kumar, with your kind permission. In the slip will be given to you, you can ask questions in Tamil also. Okay, na? In English or Tamil, whichever way you are doing it. Slip will be circulated. Okay? Thank you, thanks for the opportunity. Thank you.
So good evening to all of you. I think I consider it an honor and a privilege to have been invited by Madras Management Association for sharing something on cybersecurity. I would not call myself an expert at all because this is a very, very vast field. I can only share some of the perspectives of this subject which has been, put out by the Reserve Bank of India. There are various layers to cybersecurity and what each one of us can do. But first of all, let me thank Shri Vijay Kumar, Executive Director of MMA, for kindly, inviting me, introducing me, and also Shri Rajendran for having invited me to this session. So, and as we have put it, you can, of course, feel free to ask me questions, but then certain things don't have any answers. So I'll try my best to answer your questions. So first of all, my session would be on statistics and frauds. We cover statistics, emerging technologies in cybercrime safeguards which we can take. Some of them you would be already aware, but being in the Reserve Bank, we are also privy to certain latest type of cyber crimes which are taking place, about which Shri Rajendran has alluded to. The role of end users, beware of latest frauds, cybersecurity regulations and measures of RBI, QR code. I would like to emphasize because that is something which most of us would know. I thought I would just mention that, and how to be a responsible cyber user. So, some statistics on online financial frauds, and I've given the source also. The number of cybercrime complaints have risen from 9.67 lakh in 2022 to 11.5 lakh in 2023. In terms of the amount, it is a whopping 5,574 crore, which is reported just between January and October 2023, which is significantly higher than 2022. The types of financial frauds basically include customer care number frauds, KYC-based frauds, Aadhaar-enabled payment systems-based frauds, etc. And some of the interesting things which we have seen is in the Aadhaar-enabled payment systems transactions, dummy or rubber fingers were being used to falsify even the biometric authentication using Aadhaar. We felt that biometrics is the ultimate, but even that is being falsified. Then micro ATMs being misused to siphon off money. The amount of recovery of money, of course, has been a very abysmally low amount. It has been as low as about 10% between 2021 and 22. So that brings us to the final question. Whether it is really worth pursuing it from the policymakers, regulators' point of view. I think I would like to say that each one of us has a role to play. If each one of us plays our part well, perhaps we can try to minimize, if not completely, avoid this or completely root out this entire crime. We can perhaps minimize this crime. Emerging technologies in cybercrime. As Rajendran ji has said, today we really are living in a digital world. We cannot do without. How many of us really go to a bank today? Very few of us go to the banks because we have all started using UPI and even the net banking, which was considered to be such a safe haven. Even there, through net banking also frauds are being committed. So you have the QR code, the social media, cashless digital payments. Then you have the biometrics, as if biometrics itself is being abused. Then you have of course, all of us have heard about the, CBDC. I think all of you would have heard about the central bank digital currency. That is, of course, having the backing of the central bank vis-a-vis the cryptocurrency, which is more of a speculative kind of not having backing of anything, and so that is something our Governor Reserve Bank has frequently warned the system against. So though the technology on which it rides on, the blockchain technology itself, lends itself to wonderful benefits for the entire financial ecosystem, but how it has been abused, all of us are aware. And in this entire game, those who are not completely aware, those who ride on it without having a sense of risk in their mind, whether they can stomach this risk, unfortunately they become the tail end and they become the losers. Then you have the APIs, and I will talk to you about the certain apps based for scams which have taken place. The cloud, of course, is for operational efficiency, but then there again, we have introduced certain safeguards as to how banks can make themselves secure when they keep something on the cloud. Then basically, all this artificial intelligence. Of course, there is no escape from artificial intelligence and machine learning today. All of us are already aware of it. But we have also seen that how artificial intelligence is being used today to mimic our own voices. And the hackers are making those families of those, victims believe that actually it is the person speaking. So all this is only possible with advancement of technology, unfortunately. So technology is always, I think, a double-edged sword. Not that I am advocating that we get back to the bullock cart age where you go back to the basics and don't do any digital banking or digital transactions. Of course, we need to do it. But as Rajendran said, we have to be aware. And in this respect, I would just like to highlight that the Reserve Bank, for young and the old, I would say we brought out several series of comics. It's called the Raju and the 40 Thieves. Then we brought Be Aware kind of, small comics, different kind of illustrations. We keep updating it with latest kind of financial cyber crimes. Financial crimes in all, including cyber crimes. And we've also made some presentation videos about cyber awareness and kept it on our site for those of you who would like to see it. The cybercrime safeguards, of course, is a three-pronged approach we can adopt. People, any organization, this is meant for any organization. People, of course, through training and awareness, certification programs and having cyber hygiene at their level, processes, the management systems, the policies and procedures, and audit and governance frameworks. This is what we are emphasizing when we go for supervision of entities. We emphasize these things and we see whether the governance and the assurance functions in the regulated entities, including the IT systems, meets our expectations. And in the recent past, you would have seen the Reserve Bank coming down very heavily on certain entities, which, having promised the digital products, having promised so many things on the digital world, have not been able to have the capabilities, the IT infrastructure to be able to deliver that. And that resulting in a lot of customer inconvenience. And therefore, you would have seen that business restrictions have also been adopted as a way to discipline the regulated entities by the Reserve Bank of India in the recent past. You can get all this information through our website. I'm just giving you a broad overview of that. And the technology, of course, we have all the antivirus, firewall, the intrusion detection, software updates, testing, penetration testing, BAPT, etc., which the banks and other regulated entities can have in their place to minimize the incidence of cyber frauds. So the role of end users, you can see social media, mobile security, and the near-field communication frauds, swim stitching, fintech frauds, and individual cyber risk insurance. Now I'll just go through some of them because of paucity of time. What the Reserve Bank does is, I would divide it into two main things. Of course, we have as I said, the cyber security awareness videos and posters in the RBI website. That is a kind of a stationary thing at any point in time. But we also need to reach the masses, and therefore we conduct many outreach programs educating the public on various methods to be cyber safe. And in this respect, we have been actively collaborating with the police, with the state governments and the government of India to make people more aware about what they can do at an individual level. Friends, have you just heard of this limited liability circular? Of course, I'll be talking about some of the circulars which the Reserve Bank has introduced. These are some of the circulars which we have introduced on the information technology, governance, risk controls and assurance practices. As I told you, in the recent past, not only with respect to the cyber security, but with respect to various aspects of functioning of the banks and other regulated entities, we are laying a lot of emphasis on assurance functions, compliance, risk management, systems in place and governance in the entities. So therefore, in respect of the IT also, we have got this instruction. I don't know why it is. Problem? Yeah, great. Thank you. Then we have again one very important circular which has come for the outsourcing of IT services. Obviously, when any entity grows, when any institution grows, they can't do it in-house. So, for example, the State Bank of India, ICICI Bank, HDFC, there are mega big banks. You would have heard of domestically systemic important institutions. These are what these big institutions are. So obviously, they'll have to depend upon a lot in terms of outsourcing, not only for IT, for other services as well. So some safeguards which we have asked the banks to follow is what is given in that. The digital payment security controls which the banks have to have in place is again what we have emphasized in our circular. Then we have the directions on PPIs. The comprehensive cyber security framework. Now, it will be very interesting for you to know that Reserve Bank of India, through its various regulations, has been trying to have a level playing field between the various entities. Earlier, we used to have a separate set of instructions for, say, commercial banks, separate for the non-banking financial companies, and some others for the cooperative banks. Now we have realized that there are certain common standards, minimum standards, which any entity has to adhere to if it is working in a financial world. And therefore we have a set of instructions for the commercial banks, obviously, which came back way back in 2016. Then we progressed to the non-banking financial companies. Then in 2018 we brought it out for the basic cyber security framework, what the smallest of the cooperative banks have to have in place, and then we went into comprehensive cybersecurity frameworks, advanced level controls for bigger cooperative banks in 2019. I would just like to highlight here some of the few very commonly misunderstood or commonly, some kind of frauds which are happening, about which people do not have an understanding. Sometime back, I had asked you that if you become a victim of any cyber crime and it is an unauthorized banking transaction, say through your own bank account, do you know what is the circular, the enabling provision of which circular of the Reserve Bank? Have you gone through it? Any of you? It's called the Limited Liability Circular, friends. It was issued way back in 2017. As the name itself suggests, the idea is that once you have realized that either through your negligence or whatever, you have become a victim of a fraud, cyber fraud, you can immediately call up the bank, their call center or something. The first thing you would like to perhaps do is block your card if it's a card-based transaction, or put a freeze on your account. And more importantly, from the time you report to the bank that you have become a victim, from then on, the responsibility or the liability shifts to the bank and not to you as an individual. That is why the term Limited Liability Circular, and many of you would have heard of the term RBI Banking Ombudsman. It's called the Integrated Banking Ombudsman Scheme now. Have you heard of the Banking Ombudsman? Yeah. So those of you who become victims of frauds, unfortunately, you of course have to first go to the bank itself and complain. As I told you, try to block your transactions, try to see that for future transactions, or try to complain and say, so that from that minute onwards you become more secure. And if still you have been debited, you can always fight it out with the bank quoting the RBI circular. And if you do not get your grievance redressed, then you have a scheme called the Banking Ombudsman Scheme. As I told you, you need to write a complaint to the bank first. Banks, most of the big banks, as well as the NBFCs and some of the big cooperative banks today, the heartening thing is they are supposed to have what is known as the internal ombudsman. So the internal ombudsman will process your complaint and see whether it's justified. If even after that, after a month, your grievance is not redressed, you can come to the Reserve Bank and apply under the Integrated Banking Ombudsman Scheme, and just even in a simple A4 size paper or going through a portal, and you can get your grievance redressed by producing sufficient documentary evidence that you have been, scammed in this fashion, and that you have informed the bank as on this date, and that you have also approached the bank in the first instance to get your grievance redressed, but it stands unaddressed, or you are not happy with the redress of the grievance. Clear, ma'am? This is a very important thing which all of us should know. Why I wanted to mention about this QR code. Many of us would think that QR code is meant both for receiving as well as sending payments. So friends, please be aware this is meant only for sending payments, not for receiving money. Many times the fraudsters may call you very innocently, I would like to send this much of money, and you would feel very happy. The average man, I'm saying, would be very happy that, okay, I've received some amount of money. So, and therefore he would immediately go and, plug this much amount and, share the OTP he thinks that he is going to receive money, but his account would be debited. So QR code is meant not for receiving but for sending money, and this is one method through which many of us have been scammed. The other recent cyber crimes which have taken place in the horizon are the investment scams. I don't know how many of you have come across. Very, very credible kind of a feeling, I have time up to what? 6:45? Yeah, sure. So very, very credible kind of, people would not be able to disbelieve that. Some of our very educated colleagues who have been playing in the stock market, having the advice of an investment analyst or a broker, that kind of a feeling, and they are actually able to perhaps see those stocks, and therefore they are egged on to further investments through that. And they feel very happy, oh, they've made this much of profits. But when it comes to wanting to sell those shares, obviously things will not move, and then they realize that they have been scammed. And this has been brought to the knowledge of the police also, unfortunately. Many of the people have got scammed under this. Social engineering, as Rajendran ji has said, parcel scam, saying that your parcel is lying in this particular godown and it has this kind of illegal substance or forged passports, so we are going to come and arrest you. And before you can say Jack Robinson, you are taken to a site or you're asked to click on a website where some mock kind of, police station or something comes on the view, and you get so terrorized, you're not able to even respond, and somehow they manage to jam your phones, you're not able to make any calls. And that's called a digital arrest, basically. Arresting you basically within the confines of your house and terrorizing you to part with the money. So, friends, I always feel that when such kind of calls, first of all, unknown calls, you are not, preferably don't take those calls. I always personally believe that if it's something important, they would perhaps mail you, send an email to you, or send an SMS to you. So we can wait for that. And the other way is that if they really say that the police is going to arrest you, you can say, thank you for the information, I'll contact the nearest police station. And I'll give you a very, very interesting anecdote in this respect. One of our very many youngsters have got befooled in this, through this method. One of our, one of our retired colleagues who was more than 70, he exercised some kind of common sense and did not fall prey to the scheme. And the fraudster had called him and said the same thing. I'm going to come and arrest you and this. And what I need to see is, I just need to believe, he said, no, I have not done any crime. Okay, fine. We need to just check the accounts, the transactions in your account. So why don't you transfer this amount to our account, this particular account? We will verify it and then return it. So then immediately he said, how can you verify something by just getting the transaction? It requires some kind of complete study of where it has come from, origin, etc. But just seeing the transaction, how can you do that? So something immediately sprang to his brain. He just felt that this is not okay, and he said thank you, and he said I'll take care of it. So that kind of presence of mind sometimes we must have. Otherwise, we may become victims of this. Then again, you have a very unfortunate incident in the recent past. I can tell you, the Reserve Bank governor's signature also was forged, and some kind of scam letters, people soliciting deposits from the public on the basis of his signature was also there. And then links sent for revival of accounts, KYC upgradation. That also, if you click on any suspicious links, because now sharing CVVs or passwords or pins have become slightly cliched, slightly old. Now currently the modus operandi is sending you a suspicious link, basically sending you a link for doing something very legitimate. But once you click that, as Rajendran ji has said, the entire contents of your mobile or whatever get wiped out and you become a victim. Then money mules are again something which Reserve Bank has found. People actually, fraudsters taking over the accounts of, especially, of those very poor and I would say marginalized sections who do not have much of these things, but who are definitely looking up, for a quick way of earning money. Being promised something, okay, sell your passbooks or sell your accounts for this much of money for this period of time. And within that period, the entire accounts would see huge ins and outs, inflow of money and outflow of money, obviously linked to money laundering. So we have cautioned banks and said that they have to have suspicious monitoring of transactions, and report it to FIU, IND, wherever such things happen through software. It's not possible to do it through manual methods. And of course you have the traditional, it's not coming under cyber security, but the MLM schemes, the pyramid kind of schemes are also going up today. The instant loan app frauds is the other thing I would like to talk about. Apps which are very malicious and fake, because these applications generally are hosted on Google Play Store, websites and advertisements, basically to lure people who want very small sums of money, 5,000, 10,000, and then they end up being extorted for huge sums of money. So again, loan apps, one has to be very careful. And friends, those of you who want to know about it, the Reserve Bank has issued digital lending guidelines to make the customers as well as the banks aware about the duties and responsibilities so that they should not become prey. So one of the things which I would like to emphasize is avoid loan apps that are not affiliated with any RBI registered bank or NBFC, since the others are unregulated and could be illegal also. So these are some of the safeguards. Don't download from any app from App Store which is unverified. Avoid loan apps with low user reviews and those which don't have clear-cut terms and conditions. And check the lender's website for a physical address. And especially if the lender is giving suspiciously very attractive things like 0% or nominal interest rates, naturally one has to be careful. Just like we tell the members of the public that if somebody is offering you very high rates of return, you should obviously get suspicious. So there is something called the, just for your information, in Tamil Nadu also, though we have educated members of the public, we feel that greed is something which is common across all these scams. People fall prey to this because they feel, why not subscribe? Why not invest in those schemes which give us 15%, 20% return? The return is great in the beginning. They do get interest, those promised interest rates. However, that runs out after 2 or 3 or 4 months. The principle is entirely lost. And the beauty of it is, though the Reserve Bank has said very loud and clear that deposit taking is coming under the purview of either the Reserve Bank of India or the SEBI. Unfortunately, people don't see that. And many of these unincorporated bodies end up collecting deposits. And then we have to chase them. Of course, we have a forum. For those of you who wish to know, we have a state-level coordination committee headed by none other than the Chief Secretary of the State. And the Reserve Bank of India is the convener of the forum. Every quarter we have that, and we provide market intelligence inputs to the forum so that the law enforcement agencies are able to take it forward. So these are some of the safeguards. Don't use open Wi-Fi, antivirus on your mobile. Do not log into internet banking through browsing centers. Do not use unauthorized loan apps. As I said, use social media pages wisely. These are some of the things which we have said. Then manage your debit card, credit card. Controls, limits, place limits on your cards. I think all of us are aware that we can limit at least the loss if you have limits imposed on the cards. Sharing OTP and CVV, as I said, is slightly old now. Do not install apps from unauthorized sources and review your mobile app permissions regularly. So friends, I would like to just conclude by saying that, people were asking, okay, fine, you have given this market intelligence inputs to the state government, the police, and they have also acted. But is the police able to recover from the fraudsters? So that's a very big, still I would say, a big question mark. And I'm very happy to share with you that the government of India has now prepared an SOP, because it was always a bugbear with the police. Police was not able to get what they said, the required cooperation from the banks in freezing the bank accounts. By the time the request would flow, the money would have gone out. So therefore, the SOP now has been laid down by the government of India, which has to be strictly followed by the banks. That if a request comes from the police within this particular deadline of say 4 p.m., it has to be done by that day, within that time. The idea is, they call it the golden hour, as soon as the police comes to know and it places a request to the bank, if the bank is able to act promptly, bank or any other regulated entity, then at least we are able to see that the money gets frozen. Because unfortunately, in all these scams that I've shared with you, even though the police is acting fast, as soon as it gets a tip off, the money left in the account is virtually nothing. Because he completely wipes it out and the police is not able to actually get hold of the proceeds. So this SOP has been laid down by the Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India, and this is basically to facilitate better cooperation between the police and the banks so that the money of the fraudsters get frozen and the police is able to extract that and use it to repay the gullible public which has invested in all these or where they have been victims of cyber crimes. Thank you one and all.
Check. Madam. There. Here. Okay. Good evening once again. Thank you, madam, for a very focused talk. In fact, you did not miss out on any point. Now, actually, we'll start the panel discussion. Actually, we'll have it this way. We'll have about 7 to 8 minutes, all the three panelists, free-flowing. Whatever you have in mind. Out of the chapter by about 7:20, 7:20, last 20 minutes, we'll have completely panel discussion. For that, we'll be taking questions from the audience. I already told the audience to write the questions, preferably identify yourself. And just for the purpose of who is asking in the argument. The question is set up only panel. You can so you can so you can ask any question, provided it's quite easy for us to answer. Otherwise, we'll take it offline. We'll take it offline. All panelists சொல்லுவாங்க அத. நம்ம நாமல சொல்றதானே இல்லையா? We'll take the question offline அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம். So with this, we'll start with the first come first served basis. First name, first name, Benjamin. Okay. So Benjamin, about 7 to 8 minutes of each. Okay. Next, okay, sir. Is it okay for you? Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. To the esteemed panelists that I have the opportunity of sharing the stage today. Just a brief introduction about myself. I'm from Tamil Nadu. My name sounds kind of alien. That's because of my Catholic and Christian background, right? So, but I'm from Tamil Nadu and I can understand Tamil, speak Tamil, so not a problem. I have two decades of experience in cybersecurity, right? So ma'am spoke about a lot of things that are going in cybersecurity, right? People, process, technology, right? So I focus on technology, process, and also people. When I say people, that is inward-looking people, the people that are part of our organization who look into cybersecurity day in and day out, right? So this theme I want to bifurcate in two different ways, right? So I represent NPCI, National Payment Corporation of India, right? I'm the CISO, Chief Information Security Officer for this organization. Many people don't know what NPCI does, right? So, but they know our products well. UPI is one of our flagship products. And we have products like AEPS, which is Aadhaar enabled payment system. Even FASTag, right, is enabled through NPCI, right? So we have around 10 plus products. Madam mentioned about CBDC. We are also enabling CBDC on behalf of RBI, right? And we are, just to give a brief introduction, right? So we are considered as predominantly as a network, right? Just like for credit cards, there are network service providers. I don't want to call the names because they are private organizations. We are also considered as networks. So networks have a responsibility in stemming these frauds, and also the ecosystem players like the banks and the third-party application service providers, the Googles of the world, the PhonePays of the world, right? They also are part of our ecosystem. So in my role, right, so we look into inward-facing stuff, where we host our UPI systems and other product systems, we ensure that cybersecurity processes, technology, and people are really attuned to what they do, right? Even when a small feature is introduced in UPI, we, along with the fraud risk management team, right, collaborate, look at the abuse cases, what can happen, and then have that presented to various internal committees and board risk management committee before, and also of course RBI before it gets released as a feature. There is a lot of thought process that goes behind even launching a minor feature in the market, right? But the problem is, since the technology explosion has happened and India leapfrogged, I lived in the US as well for about 6 years, right? And I lived in Singapore for 14 years prior to coming back to my home country. India has leapfrogged the technology revolution. We went straight into mobile, right? And that too mostly smartphones, right? When I was in the US in the early 2000s, we were all using internet banking, right? Not mobile banking. So we leapfrogged straight away into mobile, but unfortunately mobile is a complicated space, right? Even the banks, the sophisticated banks that I was working with, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, when I told them as an information and cybersecurity expert that you should shut down our mobile banking application if we sense that the device is rooted or jailbroken, the head of business stared at me and said, Ben, do you want me to drop $500 million business on the table, right, by doing this? Because I was doing a regional role. He was managing like 14 markets across Asia Pacific. That was a lot. But after 2 years, right, we were able to convince that person, as well as through the regulators also stepped up their game. Monetary Authority of Singapore was one of the thought leaders in that space, right, across Asia Pacific as well, right, besides RBI. So they also came up with this regulation that we should be doing this, right? So initially it will be difficult, but now it is a norm that we do not, most of the banking applications are not allowed to run on jailbroken devices. It was novel 5 years, 6 years ago. Now it is a norm, right? So it's a very complex landscape that we are dealing with, and our users, especially the 1 billion users, smartphone users in India, are not aware of what is going on in the mobile phone, right? You get a link and you click on the link, then a malicious app gets installed on your device. It is recording screen by screen, right? So the malicious guys, they are sitting in a command center. This is like a factory, right? Gone are those days where the cyber criminals were onesies and twosies, right? This is like a farm. So they have a server farm, they have a mobile farm, right? They operate it like a business. So we compete hard because we are playing the defense and they are playing offense, right? So we are always playing the catch-up game. So in UPI frauds, especially what we felt that is education and awareness is the key, because it is very difficult to crack cybersecurity controls. For example, encryption, right? It's difficult. It's a lot of work to crack them. But what is the easiest way? Social engineering. And that's why none of these frauds, either Madam mentioned or Sri Rajendranji mentioned, right, none of them was technical. It was all playing in the minds of the people, right? Even being in this industry for a long time, I was about to fall victim 4 years ago, right? When someone really called my dad and said, you have this insurance that has not been paid off, right? So he paid like 3 years and then he left it off. It's a ULIP linked scheme. So he said, if you want to revive it, right, we can help you with this, right? And you will get so much money. So my dad called me. I was in Singapore at the time. So I had a conversation with this person. I told them I'm working in a bank. So they went very deep and they told, this is the first level. Our second level will be with our seniors, right? So we had to believe them because they had our data. They were quoting the policy number was matching and all of those things. And then finally they told, you have to transfer 30,000 rupees. That's when I got really suspicious, right? So I was ashamed that I was engaged in an hour-long conversation, but I couldn't sense them coming through. So what I'm trying to say is, there is a shared responsibility between the users and the institutions. When I say users like you and me, the common people. When I say institutions, it is the banks, It is the network providers like us, NPCI, and also the third-party application providers like the PhonePays of the world, Googles of the world, right? So as long as we understand our responsibilities, right? What is a bank or a network is responsible for, and what is the end user is responsible for, right? And we educate our masses. It is a difficult job, so even NPCI is spending a lot of money on advertisement, prime-time advertisements, where we educate people, right? But it is a hard game. It is a hard game. Gone are those days, the technological avenues are being used to exploit vulnerabilities, right? I've been a CISO. I've been in this industry for 20 years, so we run day in and day out fixing vulnerabilities, the technology vulnerabilities. But these vulnerabilities with the people is very difficult to fix, right? So even within an organization, right, looking inward within an organization, we always say our staff can be our weakest links. Because they click on a phishing link. They download malware into our environment, right? And the malware spreads. So we absolutely have no control. We can only detect stuff and then start our remediation action, which is very difficult, right? So humans, one thing I want to convey, humans are the weakest links in this whole chain. Unless we educate the humans to be aware, to be secure, right? These frauds will continue to happen. As Madam mentioned, I also looked up the stats before coming to this conversation, right? It is the financial frauds, especially the cyber crime, it's not even doubling every year. It's more than that, around 160% every year, right? It's growing at that rapid pace. So it's very hard to keep up. So what can we do to deal with this, right? Obviously, education of the masses is the key thing. Number two, the regulators, the banks, the networks, and the TPAPs, right? What can we do? We do have fragments of intelligence coming from the landscape. For example, a bank may have some intelligence about a fraud that is happening, right? But that intelligence is not effectively centralized as of today. So RBI has come up with a program in June. They announced this DPIP program, right, which has just started. Digital Payments Intelligence Platform. So what it basically means is a protocol will be defined by this committee in which every player, the networks, banks, and the third-party application providers will be given specific instructions on how to share this intelligence data, centralized manner, right? And how to consume that data, how these institutions can consume the data so that when a fraud happens, we don't detect it 10 days later or 15 days later. See, there are genuine problems in the ecosystem. Not all banks, as Madam mentioned, right, they have standards. Even though there is a common minimum hygiene, cyber hygiene for every financial institution, but there are levels. We cannot expect a cooperative bank to be operating or to be competing at the level of an international bank, right? So there is a difference. So this TPIP will give a level playing field to everyone, right? Not only the big banks get the benefit, even the smaller banks will get the benefit, right? As of today, NPCI as an organization, we try to pass this intelligence, especially in the mule account activity and anti-money laundering activity, back to the banks. But our transactions are small ticket items mostly. So the amount of information that we feed to the banks is so huge. So they in turn use auto dialers to reach out to the customers. Now, if I'm a customer, if I'm getting an automated voice message from the bank, I feel really suspicious. Is it genuine or is it a fraudster, right? So it is totally ineffective. Even when the bank decides for at least high ticket items to call the customer insists, I know what I'm doing, right? I'm investing in this. I know what I'm doing. And they get irritated by the fact that the bank is calling them. They are holding their transaction, right? They get irritated by it. So what we are recommending as part of this DPIB program is the banks also should go and ask the next steps. What is the purpose of this transfer, right? To see if we can sense something, right? And warn the customers before they end up in a fraud. So I would like to conclude my speech here, right? So there are two parts, just to summarize, right? The customers have to play their part and the ecosystem along with the regulator has to play their part. Together, we cannot eliminate these frauds that are happening, But as ma'am said, we can certainly strive towards minimizing them. Thank you.
I request Mr. Lakshmi Venkatesh.
Respected RD Madam from RBI and respected DSP sir and my dear Benjamin Ji, CISO from NPCI. Oh, at the outset, I am sorry for the delay actually, because I got, though my building is just 10 buildings away from this building, because of coming through a very circumvent route, actually it took almost 45 minutes for me to reach this venue, and extremely sorry for that. And it's raining also outside actually. Friends, the digital payments fraud is a very, very painful subject, but while we talk about it, it is very, very interesting subject. The first thing I would like to, at the cost of repetition, I would like to quote Madam. Madam ended her speech saying that greed is the root cause of digital frauds. I would like to add a few more things actually. I am an advocate of this digital payments. What is the root cause of digital payments? Rajendran sir knows. I had already on the dice for a couple of programs organized by Desire. I always used to say that fear and greed are the two elements which are contributing to the digital payment frauds. But today, I deviate a little bit from my original point of view. Today I would add some more elements to that. They are necessity, curiosity can also be added to the list actually. Because earlier the frauds were restricted only to some telephone calls asking for some bumper prices are made available to you. You just give your certain credentials so that your account will be got credited with this amount like that. Or they will be threatening that your electricity supply will be disconnected or you will lose that. But now what happens? They are alluring people by whatever possible ways they are. As a banker, I would like to put it from the point of view of the customers on the basis of complaints received by my bank, Indian Overseas Bank, and we are having approximately 1 crore digital payment transactions every day. That is approximately 30 crore transactions every month. Out of this, roughly 90% is UPI transactions. And all other digital payment channels like cards, ATM transactions, e-com, POS, IMPS, AEPS based transactions, all these contribute to only about 10 to 12%. So what happens? The possibility of customers getting cheated by the elements which are always waiting for a gullible person, the number is increasing day by day. To put a small, though it is a small information, but it is a very staggering data actually. The digital payment frauds, the value of digital payment frauds for the year 2022-23 as declared is 278 crores. It had gone to the level of 1,457 crores during the year 2023-24. You see how much, as he rightly said, it is increasing in geometric proportion. The amount of or the value involved in a digital fraud is increasing in geometric proportion. But ultimately, do you think that it is because of the flaws in the system? As a banker, I can very confidently say that the digital payment frauds are not happening because of the flaws in the system. It is because of the psychological reasons on people who are contacted for the frauds, who are attempted for making them do some compromise, and because of that some fraud can happen and the victim will be victimized to a great extent actually. For an example, I am getting across, though my daily transaction, digital transaction is in the range of 1 crore, I get only 600 to 700 complaints every month regarding a digital payment fraud actually. So it is a very, very minuscule. But you will be surprised to know that out of the 600 complaints, 598 complaints are, the root cause is the customers themselves have compromised some data. The reason or the modus operandi, how they were exploited may differ. But ultimately, what they compromise is basic 4 or 5 things only. Either they will compromise their UPI PIN, or they will scan QR code, or they will share their debit card details, or they will give their OTP numbers. So the basic things compromised are only 3-4 things. So what I would request as a banker is, what may come, who may call you, under any circumstances, you should be ready to hold yourself strong. You should be strong in your mind. At what may come, I will not compromise any of these details. It may be the genuine banker. It may be my own bank manager with whom I am daily going and meeting him and discussing with him. Let it be the same person. But I will not divulge even the simplest of the information. If you have got that conviction, you will not compromise any of the details. And in the recent past, some of the frauds which we have come across through the complaints from my customers are mind-boggling. One of the recent frauds is employment scam actually. Employment scam or part-time employment scam. How does it work, I tell you? They will be sending or they will be making some public announcements or public posts in the Facebook, or they will be sending some WhatsApp messages saying that, do you want to earn 20,000? They will post some picture. This gentleman is earning 50,000 rupees per day. Per day 50,000 rupees. You will be definitely allured. You will try to know. The moment you click the link or you want to know more information, that is curiosity, which I wanted to refer as curiosity. If you click that, it will take you to some other news item. They will tell that now this company is offering various part-time jobs. We are organizing part-time job presentations from different organizations. So you can join this. You work just for 1 hour per day and they will ask for your details. And definitely they will allure you with some payment also. They will tell that you have to follow these instructions. You have to complete these tasks. If you complete these tasks within a week, you will get 5,000 rupees. They will start with a minimal amount. And definitely you will complete and you will get 5,000 rupees. Next time they will tell, we will double the payment. If you make these tasks accomplished, we will give you 25,000. But before that, you have to make a caution deposit of 1 lakh rupees. So already you have received 5,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees, 500 rupees, like that on multiple times. So first they create trust. They implant trust in your mind. Then they tell that now the task is being doubled and you will get a higher amount, but you have to make a caution deposit. And they will send you a QR code. They will first add you in a WhatsApp group. There will be so many people in the WhatsApp group. And when you are in a WhatsApp group, when so many people are seeing the messages, you are very confident to follow the instructions and you will pay the 1 lakh. But this is the way UPI transactions are more, the frauds in UPI transactions are reported more. Why? Because UPI transaction has a cap of 1 lakh rupees per day. Small amounts of frauds are happening. The frauds are big in number, but the volume or the value of the fraud is very small. It ranges from 5,000 rupees to 1 lakh rupee only. So they will tell, you remit 1 lakh. You remit 1 lakh, within 5 minutes, you will be exited from the WhatsApp group. You will not be able to contact the person. You will try to find the number which person has created the WhatsApp group. You may not be able to find it out. Even if you are able to find it out, you will not be able to contact. By the time, your number is not only exited from the WhatsApp group, but you are also blocked by the person who had created you as a member of the WhatsApp group. And similar fraud, as Madam pointed out some of the items, investment fraud. They are nowadays you might have seen in the, mainly it is coming in the Facebook and WhatsApp only, or in the social media, Instagram only. They will tell that we will give you tips for your investment, share market investment. There also similarly, the same modus operandi, you will be asked to make investment in some penny scripts actually. You will be making a very small investment of only some 10 shares you will purchase. Within 2 days, you will get some good amount. Multiplication effect, again, they are planting trust in your mind. Ultimately, the same way, they will tell you, you invest this much amount, next week, this share is going to boom in the market. The indications are that industry is favoring this particular activities. So next week, the share prices will skyrocket. But you have to invest, because we cannot make investment on behalf of you. Like you are investing in, mutual fund and all, you credit the amount to us. When the shares are increasing in value, we will invest and immediately we will give you. Similarly, if you make the payment, you are gone. That's all. The next minute, you will be exited from the group, you will not be able to contact anybody. So these are the two very, very prominent frauds which are happening nowadays. And going into the card-related frauds, one more fraud is there, that is mechanical fraud actually. Some of the miscreants, what do? They go and they will bend the cash dispenser of the ATM slightly using some metallic, even knife sort of things. So what will happen? When you put your PIN, you have got a money in your account, your transaction is through, you will get a message that your account is debited, you will even listen the sound of money being counted in the machine and money will not come out of the machine. So you will be waiting there for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, money will not come. Then you will feel that there is some problem. Thinking that the money has been retracted back into the ATM, you will come out of that. 2-3 people will be waiting outside. After ensuring that you had left the place for safe, they will enter again. By bending the knife, they will pull the cash out of the machine and they will take the money. Your account is debited. Your banker will argue that money has been discharged. They have got an electronic journal proof to show you that money has been discharged. You argue that money has not been discharged, but somebody had already defrauded you. And another case, in the ATM, whenever you are in the ATM, please do not allow any third party to enter the ATM, whatever be the reason. You may be struggling to put through your transaction. You may finding it difficult to give the, correct commands in the ATM machine. But don't allow anybody. Another kind of fraud is that they will come inside, they will try to help you, they will tell that, sir, we will help you. They will ask your PIN or they watch when you put the PIN. Immediately when the money comes, suddenly they will change the card. They will give you a similar card and you will take it as your original card. By the time they are aware of your PIN and you leave, they will put the card again, they will take the money from your account. This is another type of ATM fraud. This is again trust. Do not trust anybody. Okay, what should I do? So these are all so many, I have got at least some 20-25 different types of frauds I have brought. Because the time given is only 7 minutes, I will not be able to tell you. Another two frauds only I will tell you. That is FedEx fraud. How many of you have heard about the FedEx courier fraud? I told them. You have told already. So this is another thing, very recently, just 1 month before, one of my colleagues who is also an executive, he was almost defrauded by a deep fake fraud. They called him as a policeman posing from police quarters from Delhi. They said that we are in Hyderabad, we have arrested your son. He was carrying some contraband, so we have arrested him. And in the background, police siren is going on, and they have created the article. So that kind of frauds are also taking place. So what we should do? We should always keep our mental balance stable. Don't be afraid of the fraudster's information. Do not trust any information. Any information is a false information unless it is properly verified and confirmed by you that yes, this is a reliable information. And second thing, if you are not having the confidence, discontinue the phone. Don't hesitate to discontinue the phone. Most of the frauds are happening through phishing only. Phishing and phishing are the prominent modes of fraud. Mostly either you will receive some links through your SMS messages or you will be getting a call. So don't engage in both the cases. If you click that link, you will be taken to some site, you will be compromising your data. They will make you to believe that whatever they say is correct and you will compromise your data, your money is gone. And similarly, if you engage them in discussion, you are again gone. One small example, my own experience I tell you. Maybe around 1.5 years, I got such a spurious call. The moment I received the call, I understood that it is a spurious call. After all, I am in the same trade for the last 4 years. I am a general manager of digital banking department and information technology department in Indian Overseas Bank. So we come across so many cases. So first of all, he asked, "Unga bank le irundhu pesre hain?" Like that he started. The moment he spoke, from the accent you can make it out, definitely he is not from your area. Then I asked him, "What do you want?" He said that, "Unga bank account detail konja venu." I asked, "Why are you asking the bank account details?" He told that your debit card had expired, it will not work anymore, and fortunately I had renewed my debit card which had completed the 5-year period hardly 15 days ago. So I could not be taken, I was not gullible at least at that point in time. Then I asked, From which bank you are calling? எந்த பேங்க்ல இருந்து பேசுறீங்க? He told immediately, உங்க பேங்க்ல இருந்து தான் பேசுறேன். He does not even know which bank account he wants to know. He does not even know. And as a normal customer, what he will do? When we say unga bank, immediately we correlate ourselves with the bank in which we are having the account. Then Indian bank, like that we will ask. Do we ask or not? Immediately we are tempted to ask Indian bank, State bank. Then he catches hold of that and Mama State bank like that. Then I told him, the bank solunga. He again told unga bank. I told, எனக்கு எந்த பேங்க்லயுமே அக்கவுண்ட் இல்லையே உங்க டெபிட் கார்டு எக்ஸ்பயர் ஆயிடுச்சே, like that he told. Then I told him, எனக்கு ரிசர்வ் பேங்க்ல தான் அக்கவுண்ட் இருக்கு. I told him, எனக்கு ரிசர்வ் பேங்க்ல தான் அக்கவுண்ட் இருக்கு, ஆனா அங்க டெபிட் கார்டு எல்லாம் கொடுக்க மாட்டாங்களே. Then he disconnected. So you drag them in some conversation. You drag them, you confuse them. If you are not able to handle them, you confuse them. You try to give some wrong information, some misleading information. They get confused and they themselves will disconnect the phone calls. And again, these SMS messages, RBI is again and again warning everybody, don't click unknown links. Even banks are prohibited from sending SMS with any link which has to be clicked and all. Please do not do that. And that is the biggest risk. And another thing, somebody will tell, you have won a lottery of $350,000. Why the hell you should give me $350,000? So there are so many, that's why I told that greed is one thing, another is fear. Last year, one of my own ex-colleagues, one senior madam, who was personal assistant to none other than one of the MDs of the bank, was cheated to the extent of 10.5 lakhs. She still resides in Madras. With the greatest difficulty, we could retrieve only 2 lakhs. We could not get back more than 2 lakhs. What happened now? Similarly, she got a WhatsApp message. In the WhatsApp message, they told that you had not paid your electricity bill, so today night 9:30, your electricity will be disconnected. This also you told. So this is the problem of both being IOBs. Okay. So with this I will conclude. If Rajendran sir is kind enough to give me a forum, I can speak for 3 hours on this subject with a lot of examples and a lot of live cases. And so the forum is short of time. Due to paucity of time, I hand over the session back to Rajendran. Thank you.
Sir, Malama Kekelrag. Okay. Thank you, Lakshmi Venkatesh, for making it so lively. Next thing, sir, I hand over the mic to Raghavendra K. In fact, I handled the training academy for many police officials. Raghavendra profile was so interesting for me. He did his degree in Chennai, did a post-graduation in Germany, after one post-graduation in Sweden, worked for about 6 years in US, came back to Chennai and joined Tamil Nadu Police. What a kind of asset that... Actually, what an asset that Tamil Nadu Police has, right? Okay.
Sir, so much overwhelming actually, and thank you for inviting here and all the dignitaries on the stage. What a wonderful conversation you had, and what a beautiful insight you brought actually to this forum, and I should be blessed to be with you today on this dais, because cybersecurity awareness is the key. Is the key, and then spreading the message is also another key, but where is the problem actually? And rightly told, and greed and necessity, and many madam and sir has mentioned. And one more thing is also something like your comfort level. Like you would like to be comfort actually. Always, you don't want nuisance, nonsense in your life. So the people want always comfort. So where do you know this, sir? Where do you get this from? Where do you get this from? And comfort means, I don't want my ego to be touched or ego to be cross-questioned, or I always think that I am supreme. I don't want to consult. I don't want to talk to anybody. I take my own decisions. This is very good. But when a terrorist enters a country, you can't have ego. When a cyber pornography is happening and spreading, the young pawns across the world of small children, you cannot have ego. You have to enter the field. Third thing is, when cyber security is breached and cyber scams are across, spread like coronavirus, you cannot have ego. You have to enter the field. Means both regulators, bankers, policemen, citizens, everybody, it's a war zone. For these three things are going to rule the world, I am going to tell you. It is not like Third World War or Fourth World War. Do not expect that. That is not going to come. Even though something is happening in Jerusalem, something is happening in Ukraine, and something else is happening in somewhere, you cannot expect a Third World War. This is not going to happen. But we are already in the war zone. With DMZ, what they call it as, demilitarized zone, we are already crossed that and we are into the war zone, and cyber terrorism is happening, cyber pornography is happening, and cyber crimes are happening in all the forms. What we are doing is leaving 6 crores and calling the 1930 toll-free number and then reporting the crime, next day morning coming there and then giving all the credentials that you have lost and being very emotional. Sir, even my parents want me to get get out of the house. These are the statements what I am hearing every day. Second statement, one person was saying, I don't want to mention this, because how the madam and the sir, all the dignitaries have shared that what happens or how the money is lost, the ways of money being lost. But I know the real things, what is happening after the money is lost. It is so pathetic, sir. I cannot handle. They will shiver, sir. They cannot signature the complaint. The signature on the complaint, I always hold the hands like this. Many people. Sir, all the money saved in Muscat, I brought here last month, and for 30 days I have done that investment. They have, investment thing into the stockbroker thing and everything for marginal amounts, and all the 6 crores have been lost in 30 days. Whatever the savings he has done for 29 years in Muscat. What you can do, sir? And one lady, she has been the daughter of joint commissioner of some department, and that lady is 32 years old. And she is working in a software company, and she wants the best bridegroom in the world. And she goes to matrimony.com. I don't want to tell what matrimony. It becomes a big conversation. Matrimony.com, and this lady goes for a UK doctor. And that person is from Chandigarh. This is the case investigated by myself for 16 days. I run through many cases. But many cases I don't give it to inspector, I do it by myself. Because they are coming and meeting me emotionally. And I get connected. And I tell them, I will sir, I'll make that bugger stand in front of you and I will place cyber gundas on him. And he will be a gunda offender. And this is how I promise and send. Otherwise I'm telling you, they will lose their life. The last ray of hope is me. That's what I thought for every case. And what I did is, I did 16 days of investigation, 800 phone numbers have been scrutinized, and I have filtered 3 numbers. And I went to Delhi. And then I can see 3 numbers are buggling in. I don't know the faces, so this is the beauty. I don't know their faces, I don't know how they liquor, their religion, what type of thing. Bank accounts are opened, 36 bank accounts, 10 are from Northeast and 12 are from Chandigarh and Mumbai around 10. And 36 bank accounts have been analyzed, and I don't have any software. You should remember this. No bank accounts analyzing software I have. iAcuity and all came later. I'm talking about 3 years before. And this person I went, and I'm telling you, sir, and first day no clue. And all dead end. Next day, morning, and I went to Aligarh and I got 2 persons. And these two persons are the people who are having 10 debit cards in one hand and another 10 debit cards in another hand. I went with a stun gun, I'm telling you. I went with a stun gun because these are cyber goondas. These are not cyber criminals anymore. These are goondas. These who are, sir, as Sir told, they have a better infrastructure than most of the departments in Tamil Nadu we have. They have a better infrastructure. Like, the high speed, everything. And even the systems are Macintosh. So most of your kind information. And thanks to the government of India, today I saw that more than 10 SIM cards, you will be 3 years prison. Sir, I have seized thousands of SIM cards from a single place which are planted into the sand in Jharkhand, Jamtara. So, this is beyond imagination, I am telling you. So, how the money is lost, you know. How the money is lost and how it is getting pipelined and sent to other countries like Cambodia, Hong Kong, Taiwan. This is something beyond your reach. But, do not have Mohan, sir. And for the moment, and that lady was telling one thing, sir, that case has been cracked and finally it was Nigerian. But the photograph she has in front of her, who spoke to her is a Nigerian, for your per se. But what the photograph she has is a boy from a Chandigarh who already got married 2 years before, that photograph has been taken and put in matrimony, and she has been lured telling that I am a UK doctor, and he talks like a Indian doctor, like boy who has settled in UK, and the lady was thinking that she is having that insecurity. Like, I want to get because it's been 32 years, but I have to give a bang to the society that I have to marry to a perfect boy from a perfect neighborhood, perfect profession. This is also one way of Moham, sir, I'm telling you. There are no boys in Tamil Nadu or in India. So I can't ask this question to that lady, I'm telling you that. It's their own interest. But, what you lost is 18 lakhs in 6 hours. Because he came to Delhi airport, and what he did is, telling that I bought honey, this is the language, honey, I see the messages, honey, I bought laptops, I bought jewelry, and and also I bought some valuable, things, and also diamonds for you, and only thing is for whom you bought, I told, it's for my fiancé, I told, and they are telling that they will criminalize you and they will also put you in jail. Wait, custom officer, I will give the phone. The time is around 1 o'clock in the morning. Morning 7, she transferred 18 lakhs. All her savings from software. You went for a UK boy, but you become a street girl. It is not, I'm not teasing, sir. I'm not hurting anybody's sentiments here. What I'm telling here is, when you try for a 6, it should be a clean 6. You should learn cricket and then play 6. You cannot play street cricket and then go to the stadium and have a clean shot of getting a 6. It is impossible. You cannot tease the game. You cannot tease the society. Sir, if you can get loan within 2 minutes, then I don't know, sir, I don't want to use this language. What the hell that IOB is doing, Indian Bank is doing, and they are having all the documents, and all the documents and procedure. They have created that banking system with so much of pain. And this guy, within 2 minutes, he is giving loan. Chinese loan apps. All floated in Koramangala in Bangalore. I am telling you, I went there. These Chinese fellows are, I'm sorry, sir. Any Bangalore here, do not get hurt. Because even Tamil Nadu, you will get some hubs sooner or later. And like Jamtara, something. But I don't want that to happen. We are severely trying to this. And sir, banking officials have taken so much of pain to get that emotion inside, and all the scrutinization will happen, and then they will offer the loan. Because the money they are offering to the citizens is nothing but the citizens' money again. They can't play with that. These guys are giving 5,000 rupees within 2 minutes, you are approved, and then you will be you will be getting into sextortion, or you will be getting that video messages, or like, morphed images, and then one police constable has suicided, you know that? And he was not able to report that crime also, last year. This is so pathetic. And you being a police, and you have been lured to the cybercrime. I'm telling you, sir, whatever the house it has not entered into, do not think like that, it will enter. When the coronavirus in China, we thought it will not come to India. But it came to Patti Totti of Thoothukudi also. Can you understand? Everybody was running behind. Sir, this is also a virus. And if you don't take antivirus, or if you don't take preventive measures, and if you don't work together, united, I'm telling you. Sir, all the systems established are like banking system, Reserve Bank of India, Mother Bank, and all these people are working very hard day and night to create system and procedures. These guys are coming and creating some, what you call, alluring things, teasing things, and making attractive things, and then cheating you. Believe the system, sir, not your ego. And give up the aham and take up the cyber security seriously. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Raghavendra. It was a very interesting session. We will now actually go to the panel discussion question and answer session. I have about 7 or 8 questions, possibly about 1 minute per question. I request the audience to kindly stay put for a few minutes. Before we go to the question and answer session, I want to recognize and register the presence of some of the distinguished audience amongst us. Mr. T.V. Gopal from Anna University, professor, is there with us. Mr. Anand Kumar, is chartered accountant, a senior bank official, and who represents around 3 lakhs of bank officers throughout India, is here. Mr. Balu, one of the senior police officers, cybercrime. So I want to recognize the presence of all the people. Now let me go to the questions. I have about 7 or 8 questions, but I will take just about 1 minute to answer it. Just about 1 or 2 minutes, okay? Let me just start with Madam Uma Shankar. In digital payment security, where does India stand vis-a-vis developed countries? Next question is, what more measures in RBI is RBI considering to make digital payments secure?
Frankly, I do not know how secure we are vis-a-vis the rest of the countries. I have not gone into this. I can only say a lot of measures have been taken by the Reserve Bank of India which are unprecedented. I can quote 2. One is the second factor authentication, which we had instituted long time back, which many of the developed countries do not have. Perhaps it is done to recognize the fact that we have more vulnerable sections of the society, and therefore we wanted to make our digital world more protected as compared to perhaps those in the developed countries which, perhaps they are more aware. I am not sure about that aspect. But this second factor authentication is one thing which is clearly distinguishing the system which we have here as compared to the developed countries. All of us are aware, I think, about second factor authentication. It could be a dynamic OTP. It could be some grid number given in the card, whatever it is which is known to the individual only. And so that is one way of securing. The second recent measure I can tell you what Reserve Bank is tokenization. Suppose, for example, in card payments, normally we had to share these card details, the number and other things to the merchants all over the world whenever you want to make payments. So that thereby making us more vulnerable. So you have now a system of sharing the details and tokenizing it, and therefore not requiring the individual to again and again give those details across the net, making yourselves more secure. There are several other measures, but I wanted to tell about these 2. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam. We just have about 3-4 questions. Just 1 minute, please. Next question for Mr. Raghavendra Ravi. How does cybercrime being collaborate with the bank and financial institutions to present and investigate cybercrime?
Sir, already the Ministry of Finance is working towards this, and I have attended the conference 6 weeks before in Delhi, in Vigyan Bhavan. Vigyan Bhavan, which was organized by Ministry of Finance, and it is between the 80 financial technological companies, which we call it as fintech companies, and like Paytm and etc., all the Oxy Money and all the things, like all this, and also the law enforcement agencies, to create a perfect ecosystem between the fintech companies which are handling the money and also the gateways and also the law enforcement agencies. So it was a great tussle actually going on, but it was like around 2.5 to 3 hours, and many people would have been from this forum also would have attended it, probably, I don't know. But it was a healthy conversation, but it was a great step taken by the words of our Honorable Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has mentioned in February that we are here to build a very good ecosystem between the law enforcement agencies and the financial companies. And of course, financial companies includes banks also, not only regulators and everything. So thank you. It is happening. It is happening.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Next question is for Mr. Lakshmi Venkatesh, General Manager of IOB. What are the key cyber security challenges faced by public sector banks like Indian Overseas Bank, and how is IOB adapting to these evolving threats?
Sir, I can...
Very brief answer, please. Just about 1 minute, 2 minutes.
Yes, just I will finish. Whatever vulnerabilities we had discussed now, all the vulnerabilities we are also facing. But if you come to ask the success of any bank, including Indian Overseas Bank, is that what are all the preventive measures we are on? In one line I can give the answer. We strictly follow the RBI guidelines, and whether it is related to cards, whether it is related to ATM security, or it is related to other digital payment security, we strictly follow that. On the other hand, from the bank's point of view, from our bank, we have got a very, very robust fraud risk management tool, which has got multiple rules. We have got monitoring as well as preventive rules. We apply the rules. As he has not given more than 1 minute, I cannot tell the rules in 1, 2, 3 like that. But whenever a particular account, the debits are hitting the accounts in volumes, that is, the velocity is increasing, or the multiple transactions are happening, or some of the customers normally do 5,000, 10,000, suddenly some high value transactions are happening. Immediately alerts are sent, further transactions are blocked. Mainly in debit card, what happened? The debit card is compromised. People will do transactions 10,000, 10,000, 10,000 during night 11:50, 11:52, 11:58. Again, they will do another 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000 at 02, 04, 06 like that. Because they can 2 days, 40,000 limit, 40 plus 40, 80 they can do. If we get third transaction, whether it is before 12 midnight or after 12 night, immediately we block the account. Like that, so many rule engines have been put in place in our FRM, and we are effectively preventing. And though it is not asked, I would say I have got a checklist of do's and don'ts. I will share it with Rajendranji on Sunday. This will be a very, very helpful.
Okay, sure, sir.
I request Rajendranji to share this, because I don't know the numbers of all of you people. And I cannot share my number also in the public forum for everybody to use. So I request Rajendranji to share this for the benefit of all. Please take it forward and share it to further your friends, relatives. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next question is for Mr. Benjamin Ambrose. They are asking Tarun R from Ambul. How is NPCI leveraging advanced technologies like AI, blockchain, quantum computing to enhance the security of digital payments? Am I clear?
Yeah, you're clear. See, while NPCI has been a deep tech company using all of these technologies that Sir mentioned, when it comes to security, right, we are exploring a few things, because the quantum computing is a risk that we see in front of our eyes, right? So we are taking necessary measures to foolproof ourselves. If those algorithms comes into play, what should we be doing? Right? So there are like PQC algorithm, post-quantum computing algorithms, which we are evaluating now, so that we can be prepared in next 2-3 years. See, on the AML and blockchain, let me be very honest, the threat vectors are not as evolved as you see in the web and mobile space, right? So we have a little bit of a breather there to look for patterns and adapt accordingly. While in cybersecurity tools, intrinsically we use AI and ML, because it is very cumbersome to review 80,000 events per second that we get on our systems, right? We get 80,000 events per second. So it's very cumbersome to review all of those things. So we generously deploy AML models to correlate events and get us some insights for our security operations center.
Thank you. Still there.
Can you permit me? Sorry, sir. It's only time. Later, after the even I came for only even one word. Actually, our policy is we don't permit that, sir, because sorry, sir, it's 7:45. You have to close it.
Even without mic, I can say most of the operations are being operated by consumer. So you please give training to the customers. Margaret, repeat training. That's the
got it.
Awareness.
Thank you so much. Very, very valid point.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, because we want to finish on time. There are 700 viewers watching online, so we don't want them to be holding on. That's why we finish on time, because idea is that, and we have certain protocol policies, sir. Please bear with us. That's our policy, and we can't change the policy.